Hidden beneath all creation is the quantum law of the universe, the silent force shaping every outcome you experience. As you listen, you'll discover that the universe does not respond to desire, but to frequency. Align your inner state, and reality must follow. The Quantum Law of the Universe. Introduction. Within the vast weave of creation, there exists an unbreakable law, silent, exact, and eternally at work. It reveals itself not through belief or persuasion, but through the precise order of vibration. Every thought you sustain, every emotion you inhabit, every state of being you embody sends a measurable signal into the quantum field. This field responds without judgment, reflecting back experiences that resonate with your inner frequency. This is not theory. It is the architecture of reality itself. The universe functions as a flawless mirror of vibration. It does not interpret intention. It echoes frequency. When your inner state radiates love, the field rearranges itself into encounters that mirror love. When gratitude becomes your dominant tone, reality organizes itself to provide more to appreciate. Joy summons joy. Peace calls forth peace. The echo is exact. What is often called the law of attraction is, at its core, vibrational mathematics. Thoughts and emotions are not fleeting abstractions. They are energetic codes, living signals that interact with the quantum fabric of existence. Each feeling carries a distinct resonance, like a note struck within an infinite symphony. The universe, conscious and responsive, harmonizes with these notes, shaping form from frequency. This truth reaches far beyond wishful thinking or the repetition of affirmations. It asks for a deeper recognition. You are a broadcasting center of consciousness. Moment by moment, you transmit information into the field, and the field responds according to the dominant signal you sustain. Your prevailing emotional state becomes your signature frequency, and the universe, obeying immutable laws of resonance, returns experiences of equal measure. There is nothing random in this exchange. The relationship between inner state and outer circumstance is exact, lawful, and unfailing. When this is understood, manifestation ceases to be an act of hoping or striving. It becomes a practice of alignment, of tuning your state of being to the reality you wish to inhabit. When resonance is achieved, creation follows effortlessly. The universe has already heard you. It is responding now. Before we get into the book, comment "I am ready" to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Field of Infinite Possibility. Chapter 1. The Whisper That Creates Worlds. In a quiet town where dreams often remained whispers, Millie spent her days caught in worry's grip. Each morning she would gaze out her window, yearning for change, while her thoughts spun endless webs of what-ifs and if-onlys. The weight of her concerns had become so familiar that she hardly noticed how they shaped her world, until one remarkable dawn. That morning, something shifted. Instead of immediately tumbling into her usual anxious thoughts, Millie paused. In that space of stillness, she felt something different. Not the ache of absence, but the gentle pulse of possibility. This moment of clarity changed everything. The quantum law operates through such subtle shifts. Your thoughts are not mere mental exercises. They are vibrational instructions to the universal field. When you hold a feeling of gratitude, you transmit a frequency that the universe must mirror. It responds not to your words of wanting, but to the emotional signature behind them. Consider young Clyde, who discovered this truth in his own way. Rather than forcing himself to believe in change, he began whispering affirmations with a different intention, not to convince himself, but to release his resistance. He spoke his desires softly, like sharing secrets with a trusted friend. As his inner dialogue softened, life began responding. Opportunities appeared, coincidences multiplied, and paths that once seemed blocked opened effortlessly. This is the art of quantum creation, understanding that thought is not a tool for forcing reality, but a brush for painting probability. When you align your frequency with what you desire, you're not pushing against the universe. You're dancing with it. Practice the golden ripple meditation. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Place your hand on your heart and take 3 deep breaths. As you breathe, imagine your frequency as golden light emanating from your heart center. With each breath, see this light expanding in gentle ripples, carrying the essence of your desires. Don't strain to make anything happen. Simply allow yourself to feel as if what you want is already present within these ripples. Maintain this state for several minutes, letting the stillness speak through you. This is not visualization. It is vibrational alignment in its purest form. You'll discover that in these moments of quiet communion with the quantum field, creation becomes effortless, for it is in stillness that the greatest transformations begin. Chapter 2. The Sacred Mirror. Throughout the ages, a simple truth has echoed through the corridors of time. The universe operates as an infinite mirror, reflecting back the essence of what lies within. Let us examine this eternal principle through the tale of Beatrice, whose story unveils a fundamental truth about the nature of creation. In a sunlit corner of an old marketplace stood Beatrice's bakery, where the aroma of fresh-baked delights filled the air. Her hands crafted the most exquisite pastries, each one a masterpiece of flavor and artistry. Yet, day after day, customers would pass by her finest creations, choosing instead the simpler, more common offerings. Despite her skill and dedication, something remained misaligned. One morning, as Beatrice arranged her display case, she caught her reflection in the glass. In that moment, a revelation dawned, the hesitation in her eyes when presenting her special creations, the slight drop in her voice when naming their prices. Her shop had become a perfect mirror of her inner world. She realized she had been broadcasting uncertainty, and the universe, in its perfect reflection, had manifested that doubt in her reality. Just as waves ripple outward from a stone cast into still waters, your emotional energy creates patterns in the quantum field. When you resonate with certainty and worth, the universe must, by the immutable laws of creation, reflect that same frequency back to you. Consider Walter, the quiet gardener whose story teaches us another facet of this truth. Each morning, he would move through his garden, blessing each plant with words of love and appreciation. His tender care extended beyond mere physical tending. It was a communion of energy. Soon, not only did his flowers bloom with unprecedented vigor, but people began to sense the peace that radiated from his garden. Clients were drawn to the same tranquility he had cultivated within himself. The law of attraction operates not through wishful thinking, but through vibrational harmony. Your consistent emotional state becomes your energetic signature, attracting experiences that match its frequency. This is why authentic transformation always begins within. Ancient practice of reflection. Let each encounter with your reflection become a sacred moment of conscious awareness. When beauty catches your eye, whisper to yourself, "This is me too." When facing challenge or resistance, soften your gaze and inquire, "What is this helping me learn to love?" Through this gentle practice of self-recognition, you align with the universal mirror, allowing it to reflect back the highest vision of yourself. Chapter 3. The Frequency of Belief. In the bustling streets of a small coastal town, a woman named Beatrice crafted exquisite pastries with devoted care. Each morning she arranged her display case with meticulous attention, positioning her signature lavender macarons and honey-glazed croissants where sunlight could catch their delicate surfaces. Yet day after day, customers gravitated toward simple cookies and basic bread loaves, overlooking her finest creations. The universe speaks through patterns, and in Beatrice's case, it whispered a vital truth. Her outer reality mirrored her inner state of being. Though her hands created masterpieces, her heart harbored doubt. She only half believed in the worth of her artistry, and so the world reflected this fractured faith back to her. You see, the universe operates as a sacred mirror, reflecting with perfect precision the emotions you most consistently project. When you adjust your inner image, the reflected world must rearrange itself to match this new frequency. This is not merely metaphor. It is the fundamental mechanism of reality itself. Consider Walter, a quiet soul who tended gardens in the same town. Each morning he would speak softly to his plants, blessing them with genuine appreciation. "You are perfect expressions of life," he would whisper, touching each leaf with reverence. Soon, not only did his gardens flourish with unprecedented vigor, but clients began appearing at his gate, drawn by an inexplicable radiance that seemed to emanate from his space. Walter's experience reveals a crucial aspect of the universal mirror. It reflects not just our conscious thoughts, but the deeper emotional current flowing beneath them. His garden responded not to his words alone, but to the authentic love vibrating through them. Now witness Nora, who approached these teachings with scholarly skepticism. She designed a simple experiment. She would look for bluebirds, choosing this symbol as her test of universal reflection. Within days, bluebird images began appearing everywhere, on magazines and shop windows, even in random conversations. Through this experience, Nora discovered that belief itself is a key that unlocks visibility. Hank, a weathered trucker with decades on the road, applied this principle to his daily routes. He began to cultivate a deep belief that each journey carried good fortune. Soon, helpful strangers appeared at every stop. Mechanical issues resolved themselves with surprising ease, and even the weather seemed to cooperate with his schedule. His story demonstrates how belief activates benevolent patterns in the field of possibilities. The law of attraction operates through this mirroring principle, not as magic, but as mathematics of consciousness. When aligned belief rises within you, probability collapses into presence. Your dominant emotional state becomes the template that reality must match. Ancient practice for modern times. Throughout your day, pause and ask yourself, what would I have to believe for this moment to feel easy? Let this question gently reprogram your frequency. Each time you catch your reflection in windows, mirrors, or still water, look into your own eyes and recognize that you are witnessing the universe gazing back at you. In that sacred connection, notice how your energy shifts and watch as the world shifts to match it. Chapter 4. The Language of Emotion. A merchant traveled across desert sands, hiding his weariness behind a practiced smile. Each marketplace greeted him with the same tepid response, polite nods but few sales. Year after year, his fortunes remained unchanged until an encounter with a wise woman transformed his understanding. "Your smile speaks one truth, while your heart whispers another," she observed. "The universe responds not to masks, but to the authentic vibration beneath them." This wisdom unveils a fundamental truth of manifestation. Emotional congruence amplifies your creative power. When you allow yourself to feel fully, whether joy or sorrow, excitement or fear, you clear the static from your energetic broadcast. Like a radio signal becoming crystal clear, your intentions reach the universal field without distortion. In the realm of quantum attraction, suppressed emotions create interference patterns that slow manifestation. Each buried feeling becomes a counterforce, diluting the potency of your desires. Yet when you embrace the full spectrum of your emotional experience, you restore the natural flow of energy. This truth reveals itself in the tale of the village musician Eddie, who spent years performing cheerful melodies while concealing his deeper yearnings. His songs drew modest crowds but never touched hearts until the night his beloved left him. In his raw grief, he poured his soul into new compositions. The music that emerged, though touched by sadness, carried an authenticity that mesmerized listeners. Soon larger audiences gathered, drawn by the resonance of true feeling. Eddie's transformation demonstrates that emotional honesty magnetizes connection. When you allow yourself to be seen in your truth, you broadcast a frequency that others recognize at a soul level. This recognition creates bonds far stronger than any carefully curated image. The law of attraction responds most powerfully to this authentic vibration. Like calls to like, not through the words you speak or the face you present, but through the genuine energy you emanate. Your manifestations accelerate when your outer expression aligns with your inner truth. Sacred practice. Sit quietly and turn your awareness inward. Whatever emotion surfaces, whether pleasant or challenging, welcome it without judgment. Breathe deeply into the feeling and silently affirm, "Even this is energy returning home to love." Allow each breath to carry you deeper into acceptance. Notice how resistance dissolves and your vibration naturally clarifies. In this space of emotional authenticity, you become a pure channel for manifestation. Chapter 5. The Observer's Magic. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant's daughter named Elsie found herself overwhelmed by the constant chatter of her mind. Each thought demanded attention, each worry sought resolution, until one day she discovered an ancient practice that would transform her understanding of manifestation. Rather than engaging with every passing thought, Elsie began to watch them as one might observe clouds drifting across the sky. She noticed how thoughts, when simply witnessed without attachment, gradually lost their grip on her attention. Like mist dissipating in morning light, the mental noise that had once consumed her began to thin and fade. This practice reveals a fundamental truth of the quantum field, the power of pure awareness. When you step back from the endless stream of mental activity, you enter a state of consciousness that ancient mystics called the 0 point. From this space of clear observation, the universe responds with unprecedented precision to your genuine intentions. The quantum field responds not to forced thoughts or manufactured positivity, but to the quality of your awareness itself. Just as the outcome of a quantum experiment shifts based on observation, your reality reorganizes itself according to where you place your attention. This is not a process of mental manipulation, but rather one of allowing clarity to emerge naturally through watchfulness. Consider the transformation of Frank, a quiet librarian who spent years trying to overcome his shyness through various techniques and affirmations. Nothing seemed to shift until he simply began observing his experience without trying to change it. One morning, rather than fighting his familiar sense of boredom, he turned his attention to the subtle gifts present in the quiet moments, the soft morning light, the peaceful atmosphere, the gentle rhythm of his breath. In that simple act of aware appreciation, something remarkable occurred. Without effort or struggle, his energy shifted. Within hours, his phone began ringing with unexpected opportunities. People responded to him differently, drawn by the authentic presence that had replaced his usual self-consciousness. Frank's experience illuminates a vital truth. Awareness itself is the most powerful agent of transformation. When you cease struggling against what is and simply observe with gentle attention, the universe naturally aligns with the clarity of your consciousness. Sacred practice. Throughout your day, pause to become the silent witness of your experience. Whether in moments of joy or challenge, simply observe without attempting to change anything. Notice the thoughts, feelings, and sensations that arise, allowing them to flow through your awareness like clouds across the sky. As you maintain this practice, watch how the universe begins to mirror back to you the same quality of peaceful attention, bringing unexpected gifts and synchronicities that arise naturally from your state of clear presence. Chapter 6. The Harmonics of Gratitude. In the quiet depths of awareness lies a transformative truth. The observer shapes reality through the quality of their attention. This sacred principle echoes through the ages, whispered by mystics and confirmed by quantum physics. Consciousness itself molds the fabric of existence. When you step back from the endless stream of thoughts, watching them flow by without becoming entangled, you activate a profound magic. This is not mere detachment, but rather the cultivation of pure awareness, a state where manifestation occurs naturally, without strain or effort. Picture your mind as a vast sky. Thoughts are but clouds passing through its infinite expanse. When you resist or chase these thoughts, you create turbulence in your energetic field. But when you rest in the role of the peaceful observer, reality begins to arrange itself with elegant precision. This wisdom revealed itself to Becky, who spent her days tallying worries like a bookkeeper of misfortune. Each concern seemed to multiply, creating a spiral of anxiety that colored her entire world. Then one morning, she chose differently. Instead of counting problems, she began noting blessings, the warmth of sunlight on her skin, the melody of bird song, the steady rhythm of her breath. As she shifted her attention, something remarkable occurred. The day itself appeared to transform, as if responding to her changed perspective. Opportunities emerged, kindness flowed her way, and solutions appeared with surprising ease. Through this simple act of redirecting awareness, Becky discovered that gratitude is not merely politeness. It is a force that realigns vibrational frequency. This truth found further expression through Willis, a craftsman whose work had grown mechanical and uninspired. One morning, he began thanking his tools before beginning his work, not as empty ritual, but as genuine appreciation for their service. As he aligned with this frequency of gratitude, his creativity awakened. His hands moved with renewed purpose, and his creations took on a quality that spoke of something beyond mere craftsmanship. The universe operates through resonance, responding not to what you want, but to the vibration you maintain. When you cultivate awareness paired with gratitude, you enter a state of quantum coherence where manifestation flows naturally. Your attention becomes a gentle light, illuminating possibilities previously hidden in shadow. The ancient practice of vibrational attunement. Find a quiet moment in your day. Settle into stillness and whisper, "Thanks for what already graces your life." Express gratitude not to gain reward, but for the pure joy of recognition. Notice how this practice shifts your energy, how it opens channels of grace. As you maintain this frequency of appreciation, watch how circumstances begin to mirror back this same quality, multiplied in ways you could never have planned. This is not manifestation through force, but through harmony, allowing the natural abundance of the universe to flow through the channel of your awareness. Chapter 7. The Particle of Intention. In a small village by the sea, there lived a woman named Harriet who spent countless hours visualizing her dreams. Each morning she would picture abundance flowing into her life, yet her thoughts remained tainted with worry and doubt. Like water mixed with oil, her intentions could not merge into a pure stream of manifestation. Her results appeared scattered and unpredictable, mirroring the conflicted nature of her focus. The universe responds not to the length of our visualizations, but to their clarity and emotional resonance. When fear mingles with desire, it creates static in the quantum field, an interference pattern that distorts the signal of intention. Through this spiritual law, we understand that manifestation requires not effort, but alignment. The essence of intention lies in its purity. A single note played with perfect pitch will resonate further than 1,000 notes played in discord. This truth reveals itself in the atomic structure of reality itself, where focused consciousness collapses infinite possibility into tangible form. Your intentions serve as instructions to the field of all potential, but these instructions must be clear, unwavering, and free from the static of anxiety. Consider the story of Don, an artist who struggled for years to sell his paintings. His breakthrough came not from pushing harder, but from surrendering to flow. Each morning, he would sit before his canvas and set one simple intention: to let the art move through him. He released his grip on outcome and allowed each brushstroke to arise naturally, guided by an inner knowing rather than outer pressure. Within months, his gallery sold every piece, not because he had willed it so, but because he had aligned with the natural current of creation. Don's experience exemplifies the quantum principle that intention works through allowing rather than forcing. When we plant our desires in fertile soil of joy and trust, they grow naturally, nourished by the light of pure attention. This is the paradox of manifestation. The less we strain, the more powerfully our intentions take root. The universal field responds to the quality of your focus, not the intensity of your wanting. When intention arises from a space of inner peace and playful anticipation, it carries the power to rearrange reality without resistance. Like a master conductor, you need only hold the vision with gentle clarity, and the orchestra of circumstances will arrange itself accordingly. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment and settle into stillness. Allow your breath to deepen until you feel a natural sense of ease flowing through you. When centering your intention, breathe until eagerness feels playful, until your desire brings a smile to your heart. Then, with the lightness of releasing a paper boat onto a stream, let your intention float into the cosmic current. Trust that the universe will carry it to its perfect fulfillment. Your role is not to control the journey, but to maintain the purity of your signal through unwavering faith and joyful expectation. Chapter 8. The Alignment of Thought and Feeling. In the sunlit streets of an ancient town there lived a weaver named Marjorie, whose gentle thoughts flowed like silk threads through her mind. Though she spoke words of abundance and possibility, a subtle tremor of fear wove itself through her intentions. Her manifestations emerged like incomplete tapestries, beautiful in parts but lacking the wholeness she yearned for. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, responds not to the words we speak, but to the vibration we maintain. When thought and feeling travel different paths, they create a discord in the quantum field. Like two musicians playing different songs, the result becomes noise rather than harmony. This sacred truth echoes through the ages. The law of attraction requires alignment between mind and heart. Your dominant vibration becomes your point of attraction, regardless of the words you choose or the visions you hold. When Marjorie discovered this wisdom, she began a simple practice, sitting quietly until her thoughts and feelings merged into one pure note of joy. In another part of town lived Owen, a baker whose story mirrors this teaching. Each morning as he kneaded dough, he allowed his anticipation of success to rise naturally like his bread. He matched his thoughts of prosperity with genuine excitement, feeling the warmth of achievement as tangibly as the heat from his ovens. Soon, customers began flowing through his door in unprecedented numbers, drawn by the authentic energy he emanated. The field of infinite possibility responds to coherence, when your thoughts and feelings dance in perfect rhythm. This alignment creates a clear channel through which the universe can deliver your desires. Mixed signals scatter your creative force, while unified vibrations amplify your manifestation power. Ancient practice. The harmonious alignment. Find a quiet space where you can remain undisturbed. Close your eyes and bring to mind something you wish to manifest. Rather than thinking about it as a future possibility, step into the feeling of already having it. Let your body soften as you inhabit this state of being. Notice any resistance or doubt that arises, and gently release it like leaves floating downstream. Continue until you feel your thoughts and emotions harmonizing into one clear signal. Maintain this unified state for several minutes, allowing yourself to simply be with the feeling of your desire fulfilled. This practice aligns your energy field, transforming scattered frequencies into a focused beam of intentional creation. When heart and mind unite in sacred harmony, the universe cannot help but respond. Chapter 9. The Resistance Paradox. In a bustling marketplace stood a flower seller named Penny, whose struggle against negative thoughts resembled someone thrashing in quicksand, each movement drawing her deeper into the very state she fought to escape. With furrowed brow, she battled every unwanted thought, unknowingly feeding them with the intensity of her resistance. What she had yet to understand was a fundamental truth of the universe. That which you resist persists. The quantum field responds not to your wishes, but to your point of focus. When you wage war against unwanted circumstances, you inadvertently strengthen their presence in your vibrational field. Through the whispers of ancient wisdom, Penny discovered that true transformation lies not in combat but in allowance. As she learned to soften her stance toward unwanted moments, breathing into them without judgment, the universe began responding differently. Her bad luck dissolved not through force, but through the gentle art of release. The field of infinite possibility operates through acceptance, not resistance. When you release the grip of control, you free energy to flow naturally toward harmony. This is not surrender to unwanted circumstances, but rather a profound understanding that resistance itself creates the very tension that blocks your good. Consider Ralph, who once trembled at every misstep in his small workshop. Each perceived failure became a heavy stone in his pocket until he could barely move forward. But when he began viewing these moments as neutral feedback, mere data points in the grand experiment of life, something remarkable occurred. His creative flow returned, and with it came unexpected opportunities. This principle reveals itself in quantum mechanics. Observation affects outcome, but judgment creates interference. When you release the need to control every aspect of your journey, you allow the universe to arrange circumstances in ways your limited perspective could never imagine. The sacred truth remains: what you allow to be allows you to become. This is not passive acceptance of what you don't want, but rather a profound understanding that resistance creates persistence. When you cease fighting what is, you free up the energy needed to create what can be. Ancient practice, the art of sacred release. Begin by finding a comfortable position and closing your eyes. Bring awareness to any tension you're holding, any circumstance or feeling you've been resisting. As you inhale, silently acknowledge this tension without trying to change it. As you exhale, whisper the sacred phrase, "Let it be energy, not enemy." Continue this breath practice for several minutes, allowing each exhale to carry away the weight of resistance. Feel how each moment of acceptance creates space for new possibilities to emerge. This is not a practice of defeat, but of alchemical transformation, where resistance transforms into receptivity and struggle dissolves into flow. Remember, the universe responds not to your fight, but to your frequency. In releasing resistance, you create the very opening through which your desires can manifest. Let this truth sink deeply into your being. What you cease to resist ceases to persist. In this gentle surrender lies your greatest power. Chapter 10. The Art of Receiving. In the sacred dance of manifestation, giving and receiving form an eternal circle, yet many souls remain blind to half this divine equation. Like a river that refuses to flow into the sea, resistance to receiving creates stagnation in the cosmic flow. Consider June, whose magnetic spirit drew countless opportunities. Yet when fortune smiled upon her, she turned away its gifts. Though her thoughts sang of abundance, Her actions whispered, "I am not worthy." Each deflected compliment, each refused assistance became a barrier, invisible but impenetrable, between her desires and their fulfillment. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, can only deliver through channels we allow to remain open. When you close yourself to receiving, you create resistance in the very field you wish to draw from. This truth echoes through the ages. Receiving is not greed but grace, not selfishness but sacred completion. This wisdom found its perfect mirror in an elderly farmer named Clyde, whose silver hair matched the wisdom in his eyes. Where others might have seen accepting help as weakness, Clyde recognized it as strength. When neighbors offered assistance during harvest, he welcomed them with open arms and grateful heart. His fields seemed to respond to this openness, doubling their yield as if nature itself celebrated his willingness to receive. Through Clyde's example, we glimpse a fundamental truth. Receiving completes the circuit of universal energy. Just as breathing requires both inhale and exhale, abundance flows through both giving and receiving. When you block one, you diminish both. The law of attraction operates through this complete circuit. Your ability to receive directly impacts your power to manifest. Each time you deflect a gift, whether it arrives as a compliment, an offer of help, or an unexpected blessing, you send a signal to the universe that says, "Keep your abundance. I prefer limitation." True receiving is an act of trust that declares, "I am safe in abundance." It acknowledges your worthiness to experience life's fullness. When you open yourself to receiving, you align with the natural flow of universal energy, allowing manifestations to arrive with grace and ease. The ancient practice of receiving. Whenever kindness flows your way, be it through words, actions, or unexpected gifts, pause and breathe deeply. Rather than deflecting with guilt or unworthiness, let gratitude fill your heart. Whisper inwardly, "I receive this blessing with joy." Knowing my acceptance keeps universal generosity in motion. Feel how this simple act of receiving creates space for even greater abundance to flow. Chapter 11. The Quantum Playground. In an ancient village, there lived a young girl named Sadie who saw treasures where others saw troubles. While villagers complained of morning mist, she danced in what she called fairy breath. When rain fell, she welcomed sky kisses. Her perspective transformed not just her experience, but the very fabric of reality around her. The universal field responds to emotional frequency above all else. When you approach life with childlike wonder, the quantum realm shifts to match your playful vibration. This is not mere positive thinking, it is vibrational physics. Joy creates an energetic lightness that allows manifestation to flow unimpeded. Sadie's secret wasn't forcing herself to be happy. Instead, she simply remained open to delight, treating each moment as a gift waiting to be unwrapped. The universe responded by orchestrating increasingly magical synchronicities. Flowers bloomed in her path. Butterflies landed on her shoulders. Even lost items had a way of appearing just when she thought of them with a smile. This same principle revealed itself through Lester, a writer who had struggled with creative blocks. For years he approached his craft with grim determination until he remembered how he used to write stories as a child, purely for the joy of creation. The moment he shifted from forcing words to playing with them, his inspiration returned like a long-lost friend. His pages filled effortlessly, and readers reported feeling uplifted by the energy flowing through his work. The universe operates through resonance, not resistance. When you treat creation as play rather than labor, you align with the natural flow of manifestation. This is why children often manifest their desires more easily than adults. They haven't yet learned to doubt or strain. The field of infinite possibility responds most readily to the light touch of joy. Think of how easily water flows when you hold it gently in cupped hands, yet how quickly it escapes when you grasp too tightly. This same principle applies to all forms of manifestation. Ancient practice of playful creation. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Imagine your current challenge as a cosmic game designed specifically for your growth and enjoyment. See yourself as a child in a vast playground of possibilities. When solutions arise, greet them with gentle laughter. Let your breath become light and playful. Now open your eyes and approach one task today as if it were a delightful game invented just for you. Notice how reality shifts to match your lighter vibration. Part 2. The Dance Between Energy and Matter. Chapter 12. The Symmetry of Giving. In the realm of universal law, a truth remains hidden until experience unveils it. The sacred dance of giving and receiving flows as one unified current. This wisdom emerged through the story of Virginia, whose generous heart touched many lives, yet harbored an ancient fear. Though her hands extended gifts freely, her spirit clenched around thoughts of lack, creating an energetic contradiction that the universe could not ignore. Virginia's giving, while genuine, carried the weight of worry. Each gift bore invisible strings of anxiety about tomorrow's provisions. The universe, being a perfect mirror of internal states, reflected this conflicted energy back to her through experiences that seemed to validate her fears. Yet within this challenge lay a precious teaching. True giving springs from abundance consciousness, not from duty or fear. The law of attraction operates through complete circuits. When you give from a place of fullness, you open channels for reciprocity. But when giving is tainted with scarcity consciousness, it becomes energetically depleting rather than multiplying. The universe responds not to the action alone, but to the vibrational signature behind it. This truth found beautiful expression through Joel, a veteran who discovered the art of giving from wholeness. After years of service, he chose to volunteer at a local shelter, sharing his time not from obligation, but from genuine joy. He approached each moment of service with a heart full of gratitude for the opportunity to contribute. Mysteriously, as his giving flowed freely without attachment, his business began to flourish in unexpected ways. New clients appeared, opportunities unfolded, and resources multiplied, not because he sought return, but because his giving created energetic space for receiving. The law reveals that energy seeks equilibrium. When you give from abundance consciousness, you participate in the universe's natural flow. Your giving becomes a declaration of trust in infinite supply, and the universe must respond in kind. This is not magical thinking, but quantum mechanics. Energy follows attention and intention. The wisdom lies not in giving more, but in giving differently. Release the fear that diminishes the power of your generosity. Let your giving become an expression of the abundance you know exists, rather than a hedge against scarcity you fear might come. To align with this principle, Take a moment each day to give something, whether material or intangible, with complete joy and detachment. As you extend your gift, silently affirm that the universe has already matched your generosity with new forms of abundance. Feel the completion of the circuit as you give, knowing that reception is already present in the giving itself. Chapter 13. The Invisible Thread of Connection. Along the paths of ancient wisdom lies a truth as vast as the cosmos itself. Everything connects through invisible threads of energy. Through these sacred bonds, your thoughts traverse distances and touch lives in ways beyond ordinary understanding. In the heart of a bustling city lived Lydia, who began noticing peculiar patterns in her daily life. When joy filled her spirit, a friend across town would call, voice bright with unexpected happiness. During moments of contemplation, acquaintances would reach out, seeking guidance, as if pulled by an unseen force. These weren't mere coincidences. They were glimpses into the quantum web that binds all consciousness. The universe operates as one unified field, where every thought ripples outward like waves on a cosmic ocean. Your mind is not confined within the boundaries of your physical form. It extends into the infinite, touching and influencing the great tapestry of collective consciousness. This is not mysticism, but the reality of quantum entanglement expressed through human experience. As Lydia embraced this understanding, she began consciously cultivating thoughts of healing and harmony. When conflicts arose in her relationships, she would sit quietly, sending waves of compassionate energy into the field. Without speaking a word or taking external action, situations began resolving themselves, as if by magic. But this was no magic. It was the natural operation of universal law. In another part of the city, inventor Mabel discovered this same principle through different means. Rather than focusing solely on her own success, she began visualizing prosperity for her entire professional community. She would spend moments each day feeling the joy of collective achievement, letting this energy radiate outward through the quantum field. Soon, networking opportunities appeared effortlessly, collaborations formed spontaneously, and doors opened that had long remained closed. These experiences reveal a fundamental truth. Consciousness knows no boundaries. When you shift your awareness from separation to unity, you activate forces beyond physical limitation. Your thoughts become seeds planted in the fertile soil of universal intelligence, growing into manifestations that serve not just you, but the whole. The field responds not to what you say, but to the energy you emanate. When you genuinely feel connection with all life, the universe mirrors this unity back through enhanced synchronicity and expanded possibility. This is the deeper teaching of quantum entanglement. We are all nodes in an infinite network of consciousness, each thought and feeling contributing to the whole. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment in your day. Close your eyes and bring to mind someone you've barely noticed, perhaps a person you passed on the street or briefly encountered in a shop. Without knowing their story or circumstances, send them a pure blessing of light and well-being. Feel this blessing as a golden thread extending from your heart to theirs. Remember, energy knows no distance, and in this simple act, you strengthen the cosmic web that holds us all in its embrace. Chapter 14. The Echo of Words. In a small coastal town, Benny spent his days discussing life's difficulties with anyone who would listen. His conversations overflowed with phrases like, "Nothing ever works out," and "Everything's so hard." Yet one morning, while watching waves crash against rocks, he witnessed how each sound created ripples across the water's surface. This simple observation sparked an ancient understanding within him. Words carry power beyond their meaning. The universe responds not just to thoughts and emotions, but to the very frequencies your words release into the field. Each syllable sends vibrations through the quantum fabric of reality, creating patterns that the universe mirrors back. Your speech becomes a creative force, molding the energy around you into form. Through this lens, you begin to understand why masters throughout time have taught the sanctity of speech. Words are not merely tools for communication. They are instruments of creation, each one carrying a specific frequency that ripples through the field of infinite possibility. When Benny realized this truth, he began watching his words with the care of a master gardener tending precious seeds. Within weeks, his reality shifted to match his new verbal frequency. Opportunities appeared where before stood only obstacles. In another part of town, florist Doris discovered this same principle through her beloved flowers. For years, she had described her business as struggling to survive. But after learning about vibrational alignment, she consciously shifted her language. "My business is growing," became her daily refrain. Like a well-tended garden, her shop began to flourish, attracting new customers drawn to its fresh energy. The quantum field responds to the frequencies you broadcast through speech. Each complaint sends ripples of that matching frequency, while words of appreciation magnetize experiences worthy of gratitude. This is not magical thinking. It is vibrational mathematics. Ancient teaching practice. Sit in silence for a moment and feel the weight of this truth. Your words are creating your tomorrow. Now take 3 deep breaths and speak these words with full presence. I am surrounded by infinite possibility. Notice how these words feel different in your body compared to limiting statements. Throughout this day, pause before speaking and ask, what frequency am I about to broadcast? Choose words that vibrate with the reality you wish to create. Let your speech become a conscious instrument of manifestation. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 15. The Symphonics of Environment. In the quietest hours before dawn, a humble houseplant catches sunlight in ways that transform an entire room. This truth whispers through the ages. Your environment orchestrates the symphony of manifestation. The physical spaces you inhabit broadcast frequencies that either amplify or diminish your creative power. The ancients understood that objects hold vibrational memory. Each item in your surroundings either lifts your energy or weighs upon it. This is not mere superstition, but quantum resonance at work. When you organize your space with intention, you realign the field of possibilities around you. Consider Greta, who lived surrounded by scattered belongings until she recognized how the chaos outside mirrored her inner turbulence. As she mindfully ordered her space, touching each object with gratitude, she felt her thoughts crystallize and her purpose sharpen. The simple act of creating harmony in her physical realm opened channels for clarity to flow through her consciousness. The universe operates through precise mathematical order. When you bring conscious arrangement to your environment, you signal your readiness for higher frequencies to enter your experience. This is why sacred spaces throughout history were maintained with exacting care. The physical order creates an energetic vessel for divine possibilities. A sailor named Owen understood this principle intuitively. Each morning aboard his vessel, he would clean the deck while speaking words of appreciation. Other sailors noticed how storms seemed to part around his ship, as if nature itself respected the frequencies he maintained through order and gratitude. His story teaches us that tending to our space with reverence attracts harmonious conditions. Your environment is not separate from you. It is an extension of your energetic field. Every object you interact with either strengthens or weakens your connection to the quantum realm of infinite possibility. When you treat your surroundings as sacred, they become conducting rods for manifestation. Ancient practice. Move through your space as though each object holds a spark of divine consciousness. Touch items with reverence, arrange them with care, and feel how order in the physical realm creates clarity in the metaphysical. Speak gentle words of appreciation as you tend to your environment. Let every act of organizing become a prayer of alignment with universal harmony. Your space will begin to sing back to you, amplifying your intentions and smoothing the path for manifestation. Chapter 16. The Flow of Time. In an ancient mountain village, a potter named Adam spent his days crafting vessels from clay. When his heart sang with inspiration, his hands moved as if guided by unseen forces, and hours dissolved like morning mist. Yet on days when frustration clouded his spirit, each minute stretched like thick honey, and the clay seemed to resist his touch. Through this contrast, Adam discovered a fundamental truth about the nature of time. It flows not by the tick of a clock, but by the rhythm of the heart. The universe operates not through rigid measurements, but through vibrational resonance. Time, like every other aspect of existence, responds to your energetic state. When you align with joy, you enter a dimension where chronological boundaries soften. This is why moments of pure happiness seem to pass in a breath, while periods of resistance feel endless. In your own experience, you have likely noticed how time behaves differently when you are immersed in what you love. This is no coincidence. It is evidence of your power to shift temporal reality through consciousness. The more you align with the frequency of joy, the more fluid time becomes. Consider Hazel, a seamstress whose needle danced through fabric as if enchanted. When she worked with love, her creations seemed to manifest effortlessly, and entire afternoons passed like minutes. She never rushed, yet accomplished more than seemed possible. Her secret lay not in speed, but in surrender to the timeless flow of inspiration. This principle reveals why forcing never succeeds. Pressure creates resistance, while alignment opens portals of possibility. When you release the need to control time and instead allow yourself to merge with the natural current of creation, you step into a state of grace where limitations dissolve. The quantum field responds not to duration, but to resonance. A single moment of pure alignment can accomplish more than hours of scattered effort. This is why masters of manifestation focus not on how long something takes, but on the quality of energy they bring to each instant. Sacred practice. Choose one activity today, whether washing dishes, writing in your journal, or tending your garden. Approach it not as a task to complete, but as a portal to timelessness. Let your breath slow, your awareness expand, and your heart open to the sacred present moment. Feel how time bends to accommodate your joy, how eternity peers through the window of your complete attention. In this practice, you remember that time is not your master, but your dance partner in the cosmic waltz of creation. Chapter 17. The Alchemy of Contrast. In the realm of attraction, even shadows serve the light. This wisdom unfolded through Bert, whose cheerful nature once crumbled at the first sign of resistance. Each setback felt like a personal affront from the universe, until an ancient truth revealed itself through his journey. The law of attraction operates not through constant pleasure, but through the dynamic interplay of experiences. When you understand this principle, you recognize that contrast exists not to discourage, but to refine your vibration. Just as an artist needs both light and shadow to create depth, your path to manifestation requires the full spectrum of experience. Through this lens, every no becomes a clarifying force, sharpening your awareness of what you truly desire. The field of infinite possibility evolves through this process of differentiation. Without the contrast of what you don't want, the energy of what you do want remains diffuse, lacking the focus necessary for manifestation. Consider the story of Ruby, a violinist whose early career echoed with rejection. Rather than allowing these moments to dim her spirit, she learned to see each no as an arrow pointing toward her destined yes. When one orchestra declined her audition, she didn't interpret it as failure, but as the universe's gentle redirection. This shift in perception transformed her relationship with contrast. As she blessed each closed door, new opportunities emerged that better matched her authentic expression. The very friction that once seemed to oppose her dreams became the force that polished her talent to brilliance. Through Ruby's journey, we glimpse the profound truth that contrast serves as cosmic sandpaper, smoothing rough edges and revealing the masterpiece within. The quantum field responds not to your circumstances, but to your relationship with them. When you resist resistance, you create more of it. But when you embrace contrast as a tool of refinement, it loses its power to disturb your peace. This is the alchemy of conscious creation, transforming what appears as obstacle into opportunity. Every experience that seems to push against your desires actually helps to clarify them. The universe uses contrast not to deny, but to define what you seek. In this light, obstacles become stepping stones, and rejection transforms into redirection toward greater alignment. Ancient mystics understood this principle, teaching that shadows don't oppose light, they give it form. Similarly, contrast in your life doesn't oppose your desires, it gives them definition. This understanding liberates you from the need to fear or fight against what appears as negative. Instead, you can welcome it as part of the creative process. Sacred practice. When contrast visits your experience, pause and acknowledge its presence with grace. Place your hand on your heart and whisper, "I welcome this contrast as the sculptor's sandpaper, perfecting my art of being." Feel how this acceptance transforms resistance into refinement, allowing the universe to guide you toward ever greater expression of your desires. Chapter 18. The Still Point of Trust. In the quiet village nestled among ancient hills, Hattie spent her days in perpetual motion, checking and rechecking every detail of her manifestations. Her journal overflowed with lists, her phone brimmed with reminders, and her mind raced with constant calculations. "Has it happened yet?" she would whisper to herself, peering anxiously at her reality like a watched pot that refused to boil. The universe operates through a principle more subtle than force. When you grasp too tightly at outcomes, you create resistance in the quantum field. Your attention becomes like a clenched fist rather than an open palm, and what you seek cannot flow naturally into your experience. Hattie's breakthrough came unexpectedly. One evening, exhausted from monitoring her manifestations, she fell into her garden chair and simply let go. In that moment of sweet surrender, she felt something shift within her being. The weight of control lifted, and in its place arose a lightness she had forgotten existed. Within days, opportunities began appearing effortlessly, not because she had finally found the perfect technique, but because she had released the need to orchestrate every detail. The universe, now uninhibited by her anxious oversight, could weave its magic freely. This wisdom found another witness in old rancher Vince, whose vast lands had suffered through drought. Each morning, he would scan the horizon with worried eyes, his thoughts heavy with concern for his cattle and crops. But one dawn, watching the sun paint the sky in gold, something in him surrendered to a deeper knowing. "The rain will come when it comes," he breathed, and in that acceptance, his entire being relaxed. Within a week, clouds gathered and gentle rains blessed his fields, not because he had discovered a secret formula, but because he had aligned with the natural flow of universal timing. The quantum field responds not to forced demands, but to aligned allowance. When you trust in the perfect unfolding of your desires, you enter into harmony with the very forces that orchestrate reality. Your role is not to manage every detail, but to maintain the frequency of your intention while allowing the universe to arrange the perfect circumstances. The sacred practice. Find a quiet moment each day to settle into stillness. Close your eyes and feel these words resonating through your being. I am already becoming what I wished for. Let this truth sink deeply into your consciousness, allowing serenity to complete what striving cannot. Chapter 19. The Dreamer Within the Dream. In a sunlit garret overlooking winding cobblestone streets, poet Nancy sat at her weathered desk, pen hovering above paper. As verses flowed through her, she noticed something peculiar. The images in her mind felt as tangible as the wooden chair beneath her. The scent of imagined roses wafted as clearly as real ones, and visualized sunshine warmed her skin like the actual morning light. This observation led her to a striking realization. Consciousness does not merely observe reality, it dreams it into being. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, uses human awareness as a creative instrument, turning thought forms into physical experience through the law of attraction. Your every thought ripples through the quantum field, causing waves of possibility to crystallize into matter. When you imagine with feeling, you are not merely daydreaming. You are participating in the universe's ongoing act of creation. This is why visualization works so powerfully. It aligns your consciousness with the very force that shapes worlds. This truth found vivid expression through Earl, a sculptor who worked in a quiet studio filled with marble blocks. For years he had struggled against the stone, forcing his will upon the material. But one day, he began approaching his work differently. Before touching chisel to stone, he would sit quietly, allowing the form within to reveal itself in his mind's eye. He discovered that by holding this vision gently, his hand seemed guided by an unseen intelligence. The marble appeared to release its secrets willingly, as if responding to his reverent attention. The physical world is not solid and fixed as it appears. It is more akin to a shared dream, continuously shaped by collective consciousness. When you understand this, manifestation becomes as natural as breathing. You are not pushing against resistant matter, but participating in an eternal dance of energy, becoming form. This understanding transforms how you approach creation. Instead of struggling to make things happen, you learn to dream while awake, knowing your consciousness is already weaving reality. Your thoughts are not separate from the physical world. They are the very substance from which it is made. The sacred practice. As you prepare for sleep tonight, rest in peaceful awareness of your creative power. Let these words float through your mind like gentle starlight. The universe is dreaming through me with exquisite artistry. Feel yourself as both the dreamer and the dream, knowing that consciousness itself is the foundation of all that appears. Chapter 20. The Spiral of Expansion. In the misty valleys between consciousness and matter, a poet named Nancy discovered that imagination held more truth than illusion. Each verse she penned seemed to ripple through the fabric of reality, until she grasped that consciousness itself dreams the material world into being. What appears solid is but crystallized thought, shaped by the collective dreaming of all beings. Your reality flows from this same creative source. When you touch the deeper truth that consciousness precedes form, you begin to recognize yourself as both the dreamer and the dream. The material world you navigate is not separate from your awareness. It is awareness taking shape, responding to the frequencies you emanate. Later, a sculptor named Earl encountered this wisdom through his art. As he stood before blocks of marble, he learned to quiet his analytical mind and allow images to emerge from within the stone. He discovered that when he approached his work with gentle visualization, rather than forceful planning, his chisel seemed guided by an invisible hand. The forms that emerged held a life of their own, as if they had always existed within the marble, waiting to be discovered. This reveals the quantum nature of creativity. The observer and the observed are one unified field of infinite potential. When you align with this understanding, you step into your role as a conscious co-creator with the universe. Your thoughts and feelings become the chisel, your focus the artist's hand, and physical reality the willing clay. The practice of conscious creation requires a delicate balance. You must hold your visions with both passion and detachment, caring deeply about their emergence while remaining unattached to the precise form they take. Like a lucid dreamer who knows they dream yet continues to dream, you can shape reality while honoring its fluid nature. As you drift into sleep tonight, whisper softly to yourself, "I am the dreamer dreaming into form," the consciousness through which the universe expresses itself. Let this truth settle into your being. Feel how your awareness extends beyond your physical form, touching all that you perceive. In that expanded state, notice how your thoughts naturally begin manifesting with greater ease and grace. The universe dreams through you with exquisite artistry. This is not metaphor, but the deepest reality of your existence. Each moment holds the potential for awakening within the dream, for recognizing yourself as the consciousness from which all forms arise. Tonight, rest in the knowing that you are both the dreamer and the dream, the artist and the art, the consciousness and its creation. From this unified awareness, watch as your reality begins to shift, reflecting back the expanded truth of who you really are. Ancient practice. As you lay down to rest, place one hand on your heart and whisper, "I am the dreamer awakening to my own dream." Let this awareness infuse your sleep, knowing that even as you dream, you are being dreamed into existence by the infinite mind of the universe. Chapter 21. The Radiance of Being. In a small mountain town, Minnie spent years pursuing happiness like a butterfly, always just beyond reach. Each achievement brought fleeting joy, followed by renewed emptiness. Until one quiet morning, while watching sunlight filter through leaves, understanding dawned. Joy wasn't a destination, but her natural state of being. When you cease the endless chase for happiness, a profound truth emerges. Radiance is your essence. Like the sun doesn't strive to shine, your inner light needs no effort to glow. The very pursuit creates resistance to what already exists within you. This resistance is the only veil between you and your natural state of joy. The universe operates through this principle of effortless being. Just as water flows without forcing its path and flowers bloom without straining, your authentic radiance emerges when you release the struggle to become something other than what you are. The moment you stop seeking joy is the moment you discover it was never lost. Consider how a lamp doesn't reach for brightness. It simply allows electricity to flow through it. Similarly, your role is not to generate light, but to remove the obstacles blocking its expression. These obstacles are the accumulated layers of doubt, fear, and the belief that happiness must be earned or found outside yourself. Later, Glenn, a barista in a busy cafe, embodied this wisdom without realizing it. He had stopped trying to make customers happy, and instead allowed his natural warmth to flow freely. His genuine smiles weren't strategies, but expressions of his unforced nature. Soon the tip jar overflowed, and regulars arranged their schedules around his shifts. The world simply mirrored back the light he had allowed to shine through him. This mirrors the quantum truth that observation affects reality. When you recognize yourself as light, the universe has no choice but to reflect this recognition. Like attracts like, not through effort, but through resonance. Your task is not to become joyful, but to remember that joy is your foundation. Like clouds passing before the sun, temporary emotions may seem to obscure your radiance, but they cannot diminish your essential nature. The sun doesn't stop shining because of clouds. It remains constant, just as your inner light remains unchanged beneath all temporary states. Ancient practice. Throughout the day, silently repeat, "Light is what I am," until the phrase feels like breathing. Don't force it. Let it arise naturally, like a remembrance of what you've always known. This isn't an affirmation to convince yourself of something new, but a gentle reminder of what has always been true. Part 3. The Embodied Light. Chapter 22. The Entanglement of Love. In a quaint seaside town, Alice spent years studying manifestation techniques until she made a discovery that changed everything. Each morning she would sit by her window overlooking the harbor, meticulously visualizing her desires and reciting carefully crafted affirmations. Yet her deepest wishes remained elusive until the day she stopped trying to manipulate outcomes and simply began loving life as it unfolded. The universe responds to love with an immediacy that transcends all spiritual practice. When you release agenda and allow pure love to flow through you, quantum possibilities align with supernatural precision. This is not the grasping kind of love that seeks to possess or control, but the unconditional love that asks nothing in return. Within the quantum field, love acts as a harmonizing force, like a master conductor bringing an orchestra into perfect synchronization. Love coordinates the countless waves of probability into coherent manifestation. This is why those who love deeply often experience what others might call miracles. Love literally restructures the fabric of reality. Consider how water molecules form beautiful crystalline patterns when exposed to loving thoughts. Your every loving impulse sends ripples through the quantum field, rearranging particles into more harmonious configurations. The field responds not to what you want, but to the love you emanate. In a small corner barber shop, Walt discovered this truth through simple practice. Each client who sat in his chair received not just a haircut, but his complete loving attention. He didn't offer this presence to gain more customers or increase tips. He simply allowed love to flow through every interaction. Soon, his shop became known not just for excellent haircuts, but for the peaceful energy that permeated the space. Clients reported feeling uplifted long after leaving, and his business flourished without any marketing or promotion. Walt's experience demonstrates how love naturally magnetizes abundance. The universe delights in reflecting back the frequency of pure love. This is because love is the fundamental vibration of creation itself. When you love without condition, you align with the very force that holds atoms together. You need not manifest love. You are love expressing itself in human form. Every cell in your body resonates with this truth. When you remember this, circumstances naturally rearrange themselves to mirror your loving awareness. This is not magical thinking, but quantum mechanics in action. Love entangles particles across space and time, creating synchronicities that appear miraculous to the untrained eye. Ancient practice. Let each glance you share radiate silent blessing, for love rearranges atoms into harmony. Chapter 23. The Permission to Shine. In a small mountain village there lived a young woman named Janie, who possessed extraordinary artistic talent. Though her paintings captured the essence of beauty itself, she would hide them in her attic, fearing that displaying them might appear boastful. When others noticed her gift, she would quickly change the subject or diminish her achievements. "It's nothing special," she would say, turning away from praise as if it were too bright to face. The universe operates through the law of radiance. All things naturally express their inherent light. Just as flowers bloom without apology and stars shine without permission, your gifts are meant to illuminate the world. When you dim your light, you create resistance in the quantum field, blocking the very abundance trying to flow through you. One morning, As sunlight streamed through her window, Janie witnessed a remarkable sight. A butterfly emerged from its chrysalis, and rather than hiding its magnificent wings, it spread them wide, allowing their full splendor to catch the light. In that moment, she understood. Nature knows no false modesty. Every creature is programmed to express its full potential. This truth extends beyond the physical realm into the quantum fabric of existence. When you align with your natural radiance, you harmonize with the universe's fundamental frequency. Resistance dissolves not through forcing yourself to be seen, but through allowing your innate light to shine unobstructed. In another part of town lived Ross, a carpenter whose hands could coax beauty from raw wood. For years he deflected compliments about his craftsmanship, believing humility meant downplaying his skill. But something shifted when he began accepting praise with simple gratitude. "Thank you. I pour my heart into each piece," he would say, standing tall in his truth. As Ross embraced his mastery, extraordinary things began happening. Clients who resonated with fine craftsmanship found their way to his workshop. Opportunities for prestigious commissions appeared as if by magic. The universe, recognizing his authentic signal, responded by amplifying his reach. This alignment with one's true nature creates a magnetic field of possibility. When you grant yourself permission to shine, you activate a quantum resonance that attracts corresponding experiences. Like calling to like, your unveiled brilliance draws forth situations that match its frequency. The ancient practice of radiance. Stand before a mirror in the gentle light of dawn. Place your hand over your heart and breathe deeply. Now, speaking with quiet authority, declare to your reflection, "I allow my light to be seen." Feel these words ripple through the quantum field. Repeat this daily for 40 days, watching how reality brightens in response to your permission to shine. Chapter 24. The Coherence of Heart. A brilliant scientist named Delia spent years measuring heart rate variability in her laboratory. Each day she recorded the subtle rhythms of her own heartbeat, while alternating between states of worry and peace. Through meticulous observation, she uncovered a remarkable truth. When her heart found serenity, her intuitive knowing crystallized with stunning clarity. The heart, far more than a mere pump, operates as a sophisticated quantum instrument. Its electromagnetic field extends beyond physical boundaries, broadcasting your inner state into the universal field. When you align with heart coherence, you tune your entire being to receive wisdom that transcends ordinary perception. Like ripples on a pond, your heart's electromagnetic pulse influences everything within its reach. This field, thousands of times stronger than brain waves, creates a sphere of influence that shapes probability itself. The universe responds not to your thoughts alone, but to the resonance of your heart's song. This wisdom found validation through the story of Ned, an experienced sailor who navigated treacherous waters through the practice of heart coherence. When storm clouds gathered and waves threatened his vessel, he would close his eyes and slow his breathing until his heart rhythm smoothed into steady waves. Time and again, he witnessed how this state of coherence seemed to part the waters before him, as if nature itself responded to his heart's peaceful broadcast. The heart speaks in frequencies that transcend language. Its rhythm, when harmonized, creates a field of order that draws synchronicity from chaos. This is not mystical metaphor, but measurable physics. Coherent heart rhythms generate patterns that organize reality at the quantum level. Through Delia's research and Ned's experience, we glimpse an eternal truth. The heart is our primary instrument for navigating the quantum field. When you find that sweet spot of cardiac coherence, you become a tuning fork for universal intelligence. Your clarity rises, your timing improves, and life begins orchestrating itself around your heart's peaceful song. The ancient practice. Settle into a comfortable position and bring your awareness to your heart center. Imagine a soft, golden light beginning to pulse from within, expanding outward with each beat. With every breath, let this light grow stronger, sending waves of coherence that embrace everything they touch. Feel these waves of harmony rippling out to hug the world, knowing that your heart's peace is contributing to the collective field. Maintain this practice for several minutes, allowing your heart's natural wisdom to guide you into deeper coherence. Chapter 25. The Multiverse Within Decisions. In a quiet mountain village lived an analyst named Howard who spent countless hours weighing every decision, believing each choice could lead to catastrophe. He filled notebooks with endless pros and cons, paralyzed by the weight of potential consequences. Yet one morning, while watching leaves dance in the wind, wisdom descended like morning dew. Each choice point births infinite reality branches, some dim, some radiant. The universe does not demand perfect decisions, only alignment with joy. Howard began experimenting with this truth, choosing thoughts and actions that felt lighter rather than heavier. When faced with career options, instead of drowning in analysis, he asked his heart which path sparked inner light. Miraculously, circumstances began arranging themselves to support his lighter choices. The quantum field responds not to the content of decisions, but to their vibrational signature. Every choice emanates a frequency that ripples through the fabric of existence, attracting matching experiences. This is why forcing decisions from fear creates more situations that evoke fear, while choosing from joy magnetizes joyful outcomes. Later, in a bustling city hospital, Nurse Hallie faced this principle during a critical moment. As alarms blared and tension mounted, she consciously chose to remain cheerful rather than succumb to panic. In that instant, the entire atmosphere shifted. Her calm decision created a field of coherence that steadied both patients and staff. Solutions emerged more smoothly, and what could have been chaos transformed into coordinated care. Hallie's experience demonstrates that choice is not merely mental, it is energetic architecture. Each decision point offers an opportunity to tune your personal frequency. When you consistently choose thoughts and actions that elevate your vibration, you literally shift into brighter timeline possibilities. The key lies not in the magnitude of choices, but in their quality of resonance. Small choices made with joy carry more manifesting power than grand decisions made from fear. The universe responds to the feeling tone behind your selections, rather than their apparent significance. Sacred practice. When standing at a crossroads, pause and hold each option in your heart. Notice which choice feels lighter, more expansive, more aligned with joy. Trust this subtle guidance. It is your quantum compass pointing toward your highest timeline. Make this your practice. In matters great and small, choose the thought that lifts your spirit. Watch as your reality rearranges itself to match your elevated frequency. Chapter 26. The Sacred Pause. In the quiet dawn, Lorna sat with her manifestation journal, pen poised to write her next goal. Her mind raced with desires, a new home, thriving business, perfect relationship. Yet something held her back from writing. For the first time in years, she simply watched the sun paint the sky in gentle strokes of amber and rose. In that sacred pause, a profound truth washed over her. The universe wasn't waiting for her next request. It had already answered every prayer she'd ever whispered. The manifestations she sought weren't distant dreams requiring endless pursuit. They existed now as quantum possibilities, waiting for her recognition. Through the field of infinite potential, each moment branches into countless realities. Your attention, like a gentle spotlight, illuminates the path you'll walk. When Lorna finally understood this, she closed her journal and smiled. The stillness spoke volumes that no written intention could capture. This truth echoes through the story of Alfred, whose small bakery once struggled under the weight of his constant striving. Every morning he rushed to perfect his recipes, check inventory, and manage staff, until one day he discovered the power of the pause. Between kneading dough and heating ovens, Alfred began taking brief moments of stillness. These weren't mere breaks, but quantum resets, spaces where the field of possibilities could realign. Soon his days flowed with unexpected grace. Customers arrived at perfect intervals, ingredients lasted longer, and even his sourdough seemed to rise with newfound enthusiasm. The quantum field responds not to endless action, but to the quality of your presence. In the pause between thoughts, between breaths, between moments, there lies the seed of all creation. This is where manifestation truly begins, not in the doing, but in the being. The universe doesn't require your constant attention to maintain its flow. Like a master conductor, it orchestrates countless realities simultaneously. Your role is not to force the symphony, but to choose which melody you'll dance to. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment each day, perhaps at sunrise like Lorna, or between tasks like Alfred. Close your eyes and rest in complete stillness for 3 breaths. Feel the pause as a sacred space where all possibilities exist simultaneously. Let your awareness float in this quantum field of potential, knowing that in your stillness, the universe is rearranging itself for your highest good. As you open your eyes, carry this spaciousness with you, treating each pause in your day as a doorway to infinite possibility. Chapter 27. The Language of Symbols. In the quiet village of Millbrook, Mavis walked through life noticing patterns that others overlooked. Each morning she spotted sequences of numbers, 1111 on clocks, 333 on license plates, 444 on receipts. At first, she dismissed these as mere coincidence until white feathers began appearing in her path at pivotal moments of decision. These signs spoke in whispers, not shouts. The universe communicates through subtle resonance, through the delicate interweaving of synchronicity and symbol. When you attune to this sacred language, the field reflects your alignment through meaningful occurrences that cannot be explained by chance alone. The quantum nature of reality ensures that consciousness shapes experience. Your awareness acts as a magnet, drawing forth symbols that mirror your inner state. These signs serve as cosmic confirmation, evidence that you are in harmony with the universal flow. This truth unveiled itself to Mavis gradually. She noticed that whenever she followed the guidance suggested by these recurring symbols, life unfolded with unexpected grace. A white feather led her to turn left instead of right, resulting in a chance encounter that changed her career path. The number sequence 555 appeared repeatedly before a significant transformation in her life, preparing her energy field for positive change. In another part of the world, a young student named Perry began paying attention to symbols that crossed his path. Butterflies appeared when he contemplated change. Books literally fell from shelves, opening to exactly the wisdom he needed. He learned to trust these subtle nudges, following them to study groups and social gatherings where he met kindred spirits who later became instrumental in his journey. Perry's experience demonstrated that symbols act as bridges between intention and manifestation. They serve as confirmation that your energy is aligned with your desires. The universe speaks this language of synchronicity not to direct your path, but to reassure you that you are already walking in harmony with your highest good. These symbols are not random. They are quantum responses to your vibrational state. When you notice and acknowledge them with gratitude, you strengthen your connection to the field of infinite possibility. Each symbol becomes a thread in the tapestry of meaning that the universe weaves around your consciousness. Sacred practice. Throughout your day, remain alert to recurring symbols, numbers, animals, colors, or objects that appear with unusual frequency. When you notice these signs, pause and smile in recognition. This is your higher self communicating through the language of the universe, confirming that you are in alignment with your path. Let each symbol be received as a gentle reminder that you are eternally connected to the cosmic dance of creation. Chapter 28. The Quantum Service. Long ago, in a bustling marketplace, Emily watched merchants compete fiercely for customers. Each morning, she too would arrange her herbal remedies with careful precision, hoping to draw more sales than her neighbors. Yet, despite her knowledge and skill, success remained elusive. One dawn, as she witnessed an elderly woman struggle with her baskets, Emily spontaneously left her stall to help. In that moment of pure giving, something shifted in the field of possibilities. The woman, it turned out, was a respected elder whose gratitude brought others to Emily's remedies. But the true revelation wasn't in the increased business. It was in the warm glow Emily felt when serving without expectation. The universe operates through frequency alignment. When you shift from taking to giving, from seeking to serving, your vibration naturally elevates. Success pursued directly often retreats like a shadow you chase. Yet when you pour yourself into service, abundance flows through you as light through clear glass. In the quiet hills beyond the city, Byron tended his humble kitchen. Unlike other cooks who rushed to impress wealthy patrons, he infused each dish with presence and care. While stirring broths, he whispered blessings. While kneading bread, he held thoughts of nourishment for all who would partake. Soon, travelers began speaking of meals that felt like more than food. They carried an essence of love that lingered long after. Byron never advertised, yet his kitchen became known as a place where hearts were fed alongside bodies. Opportunities and abundance flowed naturally, but Byron barely noticed, absorbed in the joy of serving. This is the subtle alchemy of service. When you align with giving, the universe must respond in kind. Every act of genuine service sends ripples through the quantum field, returning multiplied blessings. The key lies not in the scale of service, but in its purity. A smile given freely carries more power than grand gestures tinged with agenda. The law of attraction works most powerfully when we become channels for its expression rather than seekers of its rewards. In serving others, you serve the highest vibration of yourself. This is the paradox. The more you give without attachment, the more abundance finds you without seeking. Sacred practice. Before each interaction today, pause and ask silently, "How may love express through me now?" Then watch as reality responds with increasing generosity. This simple question aligns you with the natural flow of universal giving. Chapter 29. The Integration of Light and Shadow. In a quiet mountain village, Ruth greeted each morning with a practiced smile, spreading cheer wherever she walked. Yet beneath her radiant exterior, unacknowledged emotions gathered like storm clouds. She had learned early that darkness was unwelcome, that spiritual people must always emanate light. But the universe speaks through all frequencies, and suppression only amplifies what seeks expression. The law of attraction responds not to the face we show the world, but to our complete energetic signature. When we reject parts of ourselves, we create resistance that blocks the natural flow of manifestation. Ruth discovered this truth one autumn evening when her carefully maintained positivity crumbled, leaving her in tears beneath a twilight sky. In that moment of surrender, she felt a profound shift, the relief of finally being authentic. Through the quantum lens, wholeness is more powerful than fragmentation. Every emotion carries its own intelligence, its own gift of wisdom. What we label as negative often holds the seeds of our greatest transformations. This is why the universe allows shadows. They are not obstacles but doorways to deeper understanding. Mechanic Scott embodied this teaching through his work with broken engines. Initially, he would curse the difficult repairs, pushing away his frustration. But one day he chose to welcome his anger as a signal pointing toward what needed attention. This simple shift changed everything. His anger became diagnostic wisdom, helping him identify problems more quickly. As he accepted all parts of his experience, his reputation for healing machines grew, and customers sought him out for his intuitive understanding. The quantum field responds to authenticity because it operates through resonance, not judgment. When we integrate our shadows, we access their hidden power. Every emotion is energy seeking expression, not to harm but to heal, not to hinder, but to make us whole. This is why spiritual bypass, the attempt to transcend our humanity through forced positivity, creates more dissonance than harmony. Your shadows are not your enemies. They are messengers carrying gifts of integration. When you embrace them, their energy transforms from resistance to assistance. This is the deeper teaching of the law of attraction. It's not about manipulating reality through perpetual positivity, but about becoming authentically whole. Ancient practice. When shadows arise within you, find a quiet space and close your eyes. Breathe deeply and say, "I welcome you as my teacher. Show me what you've come to reveal." Feel the emotion fully in your body without trying to change it. Notice how acceptance gradually transforms its energy. This practice of quantum integration aligns you with the full spectrum of your power. Chapter 30. The Quantum You. In the depths of a moonlit garden, dreamweaver Tessa sat among blooming night flowers, wrestling with manifestation techniques and spiritual practices. For years, she had studied the ancient arts of creation, following every method with devoted precision. Yet something felt incomplete, as if she were reaching outside herself for what already dwelled within. One evening, as stars painted the sky with infinite possibility, understanding dawned like the first ray of morning sun. She wasn't using the quantum law. She was the law itself, consciousness incarnate, awareness taking form. The revelation rippled through her being. Every breath, every thought, every feeling was the universe experiencing itself through her unique expression. All along, she had been seeking what she already was, pure creative force wrapped in human form. The techniques and practices were not bridges to power, but remembrances of what had never been lost. In that moment, her garden seemed to pulse with new life, each flower a reflection of her own radiant awareness. In a distant mountain village, wanderer Amos traced similar footsteps of discovery. After years of spiritual seeking, he found himself resting beside an ancient well, watching his reflection in still waters. Suddenly, laughter bubbled up from his core. Gentle, knowing laughter that echoed off stone walls. How simple it had always been. He wasn't separate from the universe trying to manipulate its laws. He was those very laws in motion. His laughter carried wisdom. All paths lead to this fundamental truth. The observer, the observed, and the act of observation are one unified dance of consciousness. Every manifestation, every synchronicity, every moment of creation flows from this singular understanding. The universe is not responding to you, it is expressing as you. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and settle into comfortable stillness. Begin to notice your breath, not changing it, simply witnessing its natural rhythm. As you breathe, sense the vast cosmos breathing with you, through you, as you. Feel how each inhale draws in universal life force, how each exhale releases back into the infinite. Stay with this awareness until the boundary between inner and outer dissolves, until you recognize yourself as the space in which all experience arises. Let yourself be the knowing presence in which light and shadow dance as one. Chapter 31. The Expansion Beyond Desire. In the depths of ancient wisdom lies a truth so simple, yet so transformative. You are not separate from the quantum field. You are its living expression. This revelation dawns not through intellectual pursuit, but through the gentle awakening of your innermost knowing. Cheerful Ida once believed life's purpose was chasing endless desires, always waiting for the next achievement to prove her worth. But over time she learned that manifesting is not accumulation. It is the joyful unfolding of consciousness. The moment a desire appears, its energetic seed is already planted in the field. The real mastery is releasing attachment, so the seed may bloom without your anxiety squeezing its potential. Quantum alignment thrives in relaxation, not tension. Later, bookbinder Amosine noticed that when she released her desperate wish for clients and instead immersed in the love of her craft, opportunities streamed in effortlessly. Her ease allowed universal coordination to breathe through her. The quantum law rewards vibrational freedom over control. The quantum field responds not to your striving, but to your being. When you understand this truth, manifestation transforms from a burden into a dance. You are not here to force reality into submission. You are here to allow the infinite intelligence within you to express itself through your unique vibration. Your desires are not random wishes. They are the universe's way of experiencing itself through you. The key is not to chase them with desperation, but to recognize them as signposts pointing toward your expanding awareness. Every desire carries within it the seed of its own fulfillment, requiring only your trust to blossom. Sacred practice. Each time you yearn for more, pause and whisper to your heart, "All is already unfolding at the highest harmony." As you say it, soften your mind and feel expansion occur, not because you forced reality, but because you stopped resisting its natural rhythm. Chapter 32. The Eternal Now. In the eternal dance of creation, the present moment stands as the only point where manifestation occurs. Like water flowing through your fingers, you cannot grasp the past or future. They exist only as echoes and shadows in your consciousness. The now is where all power resides. Scholar Louis discovered this truth after exhausting himself trying to decode time's mysteries. His shelves overflowed with historical texts and future predictions, yet inner peace eluded him. The more he analyzed what had been and what might be, the further he drifted from the sacred portal of presence. Then came the day of stillness. As Louis sat in his study, sunlight streaming through dust motes, something shifted. He noticed his breath, just this one breath, and in that moment, all his searching ceased. The past softened into memory's mist, the future dissolved into potential's shimmer, and there remained only the crystalline clarity of now. Through this gateway of presence, Louis witnessed how the quantum field responds solely to current vibration. Yesterday's thoughts hold no power unless carried into today's awareness. Tomorrow's worries cannot manifest unless seeded in this moment's soil. When you align with now, the universe mirrors this alignment instantly. The gentle seamstress Bonnie embodied this wisdom naturally. As her needle wove through fabric, her entire being merged with each stitch. She noticed how time seemed to pool around her presence like liquid light. Her finished garments carried this timeless quality, drawing clients who sensed the peace sewn into every seam. Without seeking success, she found it flowing to her through the portal of presence. The quantum field knows only now. When your awareness rests fully in this moment, the wave function of all possibility collapses into perfect harmony. Your past repatterns itself around your present consciousness. Your future realigns with your current frequency. This is why presence holds such transformative power. It is the fulcrum point where all timelines converge. Practice. Throughout your day, whenever your mind drifts, breathe deeply and remind yourself, this breath is the entire universe right now. Feel everything converge into that single exhalation, a soft reminder that all power lives in this luminous moment. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. The quantum law of the universe reveals itself not as a distant force, but as the very essence of your being. Through these chapters, you have witnessed how consciousness shapes reality, not through mere wishing, but through the sacred resonance of your internal state. Every heartbeat sends ripples through the quantum field, and every breath carries the potential to realign your vibration with infinite possibility. You now understand that manifestation flows not from external pursuit, but from internal recognition. The universe responds not to what you want, but to who you are being in each moment. When your heart beats in harmony with gratitude, when your mind rests in trust, and when your spirit dances with joy, you activate a frequency that the cosmos must mirror. Fear and doubt are not obstacles, but guideposts, gentle reminders calling you back to alignment. They serve as tuning forks, helping you adjust your vibration until it matches the frequency of your desires. This is not a process of earning or achieving. It is a remembrance of your natural state of co-creation with the universe. You have always been engaged in this cosmic dance, whether conscious of it or not. Each moment presents a fresh canvas where your consciousness paints reality anew. The power lies not in reaching for distant stars, but in recognizing that you are the starlight itself. Pure consciousness, expressing through form. The universe operates not through judgment or reward, but through resonance and reflection. It is an infinite mirror, showing you the precise frequency you emanate. As you embrace this truth, life transforms from a series of random events into a meaningful dialogue between your awareness and the field of all possibility. Remember, you are not separate from the universe. You are its localized expression, creating through the eternal power of now.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.